Virtual Business Development Center, we're all customer experience coordinators. So we do a lot of BDC activity virtually from West Palm Beach, Florida. And our dealerships range from Florida to California with one stop in between of Texas. And so we handle inbound and outbound calls, sales and service. We have currently 9 dealerships and 28 reps right now on staff, calling between the 9 dealerships. And we really use the reporting tool in Dealer Socket, whether it's the activity reports or the performance reports, to know exactly where each rep stands and hold them accountable. We really like them to make 100 calls a day. Sometimes that varies, but their pay plan is tied to how many calls they make, how many emails they make, texts. So the way we hold everybody accountable is through that reporting tool in the report section of Dealer Socket. We stick to our commitments, and the second commitment is being of service to team members and clients. So not only do we want to be of service to the client, but each team member is responsible for hitting a bonus at the end of the month. And if that person is one step away and their neighbor's already made it, if their neighbor wants to help them qualify for bonus, they're going to get a higher percentage of that pot because they have more points. It's a little complicated, but it makes sure that each person helps their neighbor and everybody's going to be a team. So the more people that qualify for the bonus, the higher the pot goes up, and then it becomes a points percentage of how much activities you did, appointments set, service set, show results, and all that stuff. So the more people, the better. So if you help your neighbor, you're going to get more money at the end of the month. Dealer Socket is a great tool, especially Blackbird. It's very user-friendly. Between the store and any BDC, we can easily access any one of our accounts and then pull up any single profile, see exactly what happened. I mean, the night before, if I know I set a sales appointment, I can't wait to get to work in the morning to see the updated notes, see how the appointment went, and if they bought a car. So Blackbird makes it in the touch of 2 buttons. I can see exactly what happened on a customer's profile and where they are in their buying process. Revenue Radar has been huge for us because not only do we handle all the internet leads that come into each store, but if we don't have Revenue Radar, we cannot have a successful month. So internet leads close between 4 and 10%, and if we don't have Revenue Radar, we're not going to hit our bonus at the end of the month. So I encourage everybody on my staff to use Revenue Radar, especially end of term, end of finance, people with positive equity. There's a whole range of categories that you can dig in. And it's all customers that have done business with you in the past, so they already trust you. Well, we hope they trust you. But it's really good, so you can pull up all of their information back to when they bought the car, see exactly what they're paying, what sort of payoff and equity history, and the last time they serviced. So in one screen, you get a snapshot of everything on Revenue Radar. And then you can equip yourself on that call to either start with service and then move into gradually getting them in for sales. The service scheduler is great because it doesn't allow for overlapping. And that's one of the biggest things we see with using CDK only. One advisor could book himself an appointment, 4 appointments at 9 o'clock for an example. And that it cannot happen with service scheduler. There's a maximum number of appointments and a maximum number of repair hours available. So if you build it out correctly and you have all your advisors in there, then you won't have any scheduling issues. It's really key for our service coordinators because they stay on it. They can see exactly the service history, the customer's information, the VIN number, who they serviced with last, all their history. It's all in front of them, and all the information is on one screen. So for an example, one of our stores has 40 max appointments for the day. As soon as that hits 40 appointments, that scheduler reds out, all the red lights come up, and you can't book any more appointments. So there's never going to be any customers complaining about, oh, well, this person told me I could come in, because the scheduler won't allow for overlapping. The service schedule is great, but the way we can benefit using Revenue Radar at the same time is if we pull up a list of customers and we see that, hey, they haven't been in service for a year. The way that Audi and Jaguar and Land Rover work, their service schedule 1 year, every 10,000 miles, whatever comes first. So I can customize Revenue Radar and pull up a list of customers that haven't been in service between 8 to 12 months. So I can mine through those customers and say, hey, how's it going? I see you haven't been in service in about 8 months. I'd love to get you back in. And by the way, I see you drive a 3 or 4 year old car, so we can go over your upgrade options as well. You're already going to be in service. So Revenue Radar is just the tip of the iceberg. Once you dip into Revenue Radar and get the customer database, and start on service, you can go into a whole different aspect with getting them into upgrade. And we call those 2-for-1s, so we love those. Over the last year, when we first started this, nobody was using Socket Talk. We didn't know what it was. We were scared to even dip into it. We didn't realize that not having the number in the mobile slot wouldn't allow us to text, but one day I was looking at it and I slid that number up into the mobile slot and then the light popped up. So I was able to text message. So with text messaging, you see this trend over the last year where people do not want to answer the phone. They barely respond to emails, and now everybody wants to text. So our highest rep last month had 1,400 text messages, and he was the top grossing agent that we had. So the difference between a year ago and now is that everybody wants to text. If you look at your phone right now, you don't have any unopened text messages, but I bet you have a bunch of emails that you haven't read. So it's really a good tool. And once they opt in, that's the great thing about Dealer Socket and using the system, everything's inside of the Blackbird. So if you have them opt in, everything is recorded. It's all gonna be on there and the customer can opt out anytime. So just having that ease factor for the customer, that I can communicate with them at any point, just text them. If they say right off the jump, like, hey, I don't want a bunch of calls, is what most people say. Say, great, let me send you this opt-in text, just reply yes, and then we can communicate back and forth. And they love that. I've set a ton of appointments off the Socket Talk, so it's really user-friendly.